And so that's actually going to be the theme of tonight's class, is balance and perfection. So a lot of times when we think about perfection, think about like an image of being perfect or making no mistakes, always doing it perfect, just right. Instead, there is a word lagom, which is, I think it's Norwegian, which is good for this part of the country. And it also means balance, but more so in the just right, in moderation. So more so of the Goldilocks, right? A little too hot, a little too cold, just right. And so that kind of balance is actually the type of perfection that we should strive to achieve, not what looks right, but instead finding an equilibrium for ourselves. And so as you sit here, if you're in a cross-legged position, then try and switch out your feet. So you just kind of switch it up. Get out of some of those routines. And we're going to do a breathing technique called Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing. So you're going to take your left hand and take your pointer finger and middle finger and drop them down. You're going to be using your ring finger and your thumb to gently close alternate nostrils. So nadis are the energy channels that run parallel to your spine, down your back. And this balances the left and right side of those energy channels, but also the left and right side of the brain, which can sometimes compete with each other. So sit up nice and tall. Take an inhale and really feel the air draw in through both nostrils, filling both lungs equally, and then exhale. Drawing your hand up, use your thumb to gently close the nostril and take a deep inhale on the right side. Once you're full, gently close both nostrils, hold, then release your thumb, exhale through your left side. Pause briefly at the bottom, and then inhale, again with your thumb lifted. Your ring finger gently compressing the right nostril, inhaling through your left. Gently hold both nostrils. Then release your ring finger and exhale. Push all of the air out, pause at the bottom, and then begin your inhale with your ring finger still lifted. Taking a deep breath in, filling both lungs, gentle compression, hold on full. Then lift your thumb and exhale through the left side. Pause, and then breathe in, left side, thumb still lifted. Gently compress both nostrils at the top. Hold the air in your lungs. Release your ring finger, exhale. So continue to do this. Breathing in and out through the same side, and then gently compressing at the top and alternating which finger is lifted. And so as you do this alternate nostril breathing, I want you to almost imagine a rainbow or a bell bouncing from side to side. Inhale, finding it coming to the peak, cresting, and then exhale, dropping over to the other side. A very nice symmetrical arc. And then a gentle rebound. This also really helps clear both sides of your nose. So you really make sure it's almost like flossing your nostrils. So especially if you're suffering from seasonal allergies, you might need to duck out and grab a Kleenex. Maybe even close your eyes. Take 2 more breaths. And the next time you breathe out with your thumb lifted, gently drop your hand back down to your knee. Both nostrils open, take an inhale. Now feeling both nostrils fill with air, that equality, that balance. And exhale. That one more time, really focusing on equal breath in through both sides and out. Just that simple breath work can really transform the way that you feel in this moment in, 5 minutes. So from there, just move your legs to the side and come to a tabletop position. Hands down underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Inhale, lift your gaze, look up, and then exhale, draw in. So this is called cat-cow pose, but a lot of times I refer to it as chakra Bakasana. So the Sanskrit name, which is continuous or churning wheel. So now finding that breath in through both of your nostrils and out through both of your nostrils equally. Start to create a little bit of fluidity in your movement, like a churning wheel. Inhale, lift your chin, lift your gaze. Exhale, press your upper back towards the sky or the ceiling and dip your chin. Flexing and extending your spine, just waking things up nice and slow. If you'd prefer a little bit more hip mobility, then you can do some barrel rolls instead, making the movement more left to right side. And then maybe if you're doing that, go the opposite direction. So your churning wheel can be in either direction, side or front to back. All right, and then find some stillness, and whatever fun props you're going to be using tonight, you're going to set those up. Whew, these are heavy. I wanted a good solid base. You're going to set those up on either side of the front of your mat. Hands come down, press your hands into the mat, tuck your toes, inhale, lift up into plank. Then exhale, bend your knees, send your hips back over your heel. Release your head down, start to straighten your legs. Coming into downward facing dog. Spread your fingers as wide as they'll go, and then really press your palms into the mat to lift your hips a little bit higher. Keep a gentle bend in your knees. Inhale and exhale. Relax your head. Let your gaze drop down between your legs. Again, inhale. Think about the air filling up, running down both of those knotty lines along your spine all the way to the bottom of your spine, which is now the top of this pose. And then exhale, let that drain out. Heels drop down, keep pressing your hands into the mat. Take one more. Inhale. Feel that energy peak at your hips. And exhale. And inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot forward by your left thumb. Come into a nice long lunge. All right, if you have a thin mat, this is super thin, my travel mat. So hopefully it's not too hard on my knees, but you can flip it up, get a little extra cushion, then you're gonna lower your right knee down, press the top of your right foot down. So Anjanayasana Low Lunge, we're gonna pull in those props. Plant your hands onto the props so you have something to push into, and then draw your left knee forward. And you can start to walk these back, maybe even a little bit more towards your hips so that you can let your psoas on the right side release. So psoas comes from the back of your spine to the lower lumbar vertebrae through your hips and connects to the front. That's what we're trying to release here. So draw your left knee forward, press your hands into your props. Now, if you're not working with props tonight, that's totally fine. You can still do this with hands down on the mat. And if you are doing that, I would suggest using fingertips pushing into the mat rather than your whole hand down. So you still get a little bit more spinal extension. And we're going to take 3 breaths here. 3 more breaths. We've been here for a while. Inhale. Exhale. Now think about your body shifting forward, your right knee grounding, and press your right shin down. Inhale. Lift your chin just slightly. Elongate your spine. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, thinking of filling both nostrils, both naughty lines. And then exhale, slowly release. Bring your hands down, move the props out of the way. You can untuck your mat. And we're gonna just tuck those back toes under and step back into downward facing dog. Again, spread your hands, make a nice foundation. Press your hips up and back, relax your neck. Let those 7 vertebrae at the very top, your cervical vertebra, your cervical spine, relax. They carry the weight of your head all day. Inhale and exhale. So you might notice here a sensation, an opening on that right side from such a long lunge position. So we'll see if we can balance that out. Inhale, lift the right leg high. And the exhale, step the right foot forward to a nice long lunge. Finger pads grip down. You want to make sure that you have knee stacked over your ankle. And then again, you can cushion on the left side, lower that left knee down. Press the top of the left foot down. Keep shifting your right knee forward. So you'll notice here, between my left thigh and the mat, there is an acute angle. So I'm not pushing directly down the weight onto my kneecap, but instead there is a shift forward. So that's going to A, be much better on your knees, and B, help you get into that psoas now on the left side. Pull in your props, your blocks, press your hands down, and then start to lift your chest. Keep drawing now the right knee forward, and think about your body really moving along the middle of your mat. Draw in towards the midline, keeping your core engaged. So we're not, moving into a lunge-like or yin-like lunge where you're just kind of letting everything release, but instead keep pressing down with that right foot. Press down with the left shin, the top of the left foot to shift forward. See if you can open your chest, draw your shoulder heads back, and then pull in those blocks enough so that you have something to press down into. So you are supported so that you can find integration. And then exhale a little bit of release. So I like to say, letting go to about 80%, letting yourself sink down a little bit more into this position. All right, now our 3 deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. And breath in and out. Last time through your nose. Inhale. And then exhale, slowly move the props off to the side. Release the mat. Plant both hands, tuck your back toes and step back. Press up, downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Notice now if you feel this equilibrium between sides. Your left psoas has been opened up as much as your right. Maybe even pedal out those feet. We're going to move into a classical namaskar with those Anjanayasana Low Lunges, and then add in a little bit. So you're going to slowly walk yourself to the front of the mat. You can, if you liked using those props, you can keep them nearby. Otherwise, you can just set them off to the side if you don't want to. Inhale, press into your shins, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Sweep your arms out wide. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Arms up overhead, gaze up. And then exhale, press your hands together. Let your thumbs come down to your sternum. So this position, called Samasthitihi. Hands together, pressing equally. Let your thumbs actually rest on your sternum and press both feet into the mat. Now find that equilibrium from side to side here. Keep that pressure between your hands. Drop your hands, inhale, lift up. So that's going to be kind of like our reset between sides. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step your left foot back, and lower your left knee down back into that Anjanayasana Low Lunge. Press the top of your left foot down. Inhale, rise up. So Anjanayasana Low Lunge. We've been here before. Previously with our hands grounded. If that felt better, you can bring your hands back down. But we've got a little muscle memory. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin. Keep your core engaged like you could suture down the middle of your core. Yeah, keep pulling those ribs in. Take another breath in. Exhale, plant your hands. And we're going to move into Arta Hanamanasana, or half splits. So just straighten your left leg, shift your hips back so that the knee now is stacked with the hips, and curl your right toes back. Hands come on either side of your shin, or you can bring in those props, any height to find a little bit of lift. Oh, Gigi, you come to join us. All right, breath in. You got to move to the side, girl. And breath out. Keep curling your right toes back. Ground your right heel down. And imagine that you could plug your right femur head back into your hip, drawing your right hip back a little bit more. Again, finding those nice even breaths through your nose. Three times. So last time here, inhale and exhale. Inhale, shift back forward. So you're back in that low lunge. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands together to heart center. So finding that Samasthitihi that we did at the top. Let this be like a reset, pressing equally into the opposite. Shift your chest forward. Breath in, open your chest. Exhale, you're going to tip forward just slightly, keeping your hands together at heart center. You're going to take a gentle twist, bringing your left elbow outside of your right knee, pressing your palms together. So I'm going to do this towards you. Pressing your palms together, and then using that connection of elbow to knee, start to open your twist. Now, if this doesn't feel good, you can always bring one hand down to the inside of your foot, one hand to your top leg, and find a gentle twist that way. One more breath in and out. Slowly release, plant both hands down, tuck your back toes, and step back to the front of the mat. Inhale, press into your hands, halfway lift, and then exhale, fold. Sweep your arms out wide. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Fingertips meet. Exhale, draw them down to heart center. Thumbs on your sternum, Samasthitihi. Inhale, lift your arms back up. And then exhale, fold. Plant your hands down. Step your right leg back, coming into that lunge. Lowering your right knee down and pressing the top of your right foot down. Inhale, sweep both of your arms up. Anjanayasana on the second side. And you can always cushion underneath that right knee. Lift your gaze. Suture right down the midline of your core, keeping your ribs drawing in instead of letting your rib cage open. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale and exhale. Slowly bring your hands down, shifting back into Arta Hanamanasana. Hands come to either side of your front left foot, and then start to straighten your left leg. Pull your left toes back, ground that heel down, and then plug your left femur head in. You can even draw your thumb up and actually give yourself a manual adjustment, finding your hip crease and then just drawing it back slightly. Then hands come down to frame your shin. You can pull in those props, those, 15-pound dumbbells. And then reach your chin forward. Exhale, fold over that extended leg. See if you can spread your left toes, keeping your left foot active, keeping your heel grounding down into the mat. Breath in and breath out. Inhale. Exhale, seeing if you can ease a little bit in the pose. And breath in, integrate, press down, press that right calf down, or shin rather. And then exhale. Inhale, come back forward, press your right or left foot into the mat. Sweep your arms back up, Anjanayasana, low lunge. And then exhale, bring your hands together, Samasthiti. Let your thumbs rest on your sternum. Press actively, hand into the opposite. So this is that integration, right? You feel your muscles turn on with no movement, but there is a lot of pressure there. Breath in, tip forward, and then exhale, begin to twist. So in order to find a twist, you got to bring a little bit of ease into the movements. Inhale, integrate, press into that bottom elbow to increase the twist. And then exhale, can you drop a little bit more forward? Can you find a little bit more ease without letting the structure of the pose go? Again, always an option to bring the hand down, your right hand down inside of your left leg, and then left hand on your left thigh for a little bit more of a gentle twist tonight, especially if you just ate, depending on what time zone you're in. Maybe you're like, I just had goat cheese and all kinds of good stuff. No deep twists. So you get to decide. I'm in Dairyland. Cheese is on the mind. And then hand breath out. Really nice. And slowly release. Bring both hands down. Tuck your toes. Step forward. Forward fold at the front of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Sweep your arms wide. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bring your hands together to heart center. Reset. Like you're just pushing the reset button, pressing your hands together. Drop your hands. Inhale, lift them up. And then exhale, fold. Left leg back. Left knee down. Press the top of the left foot down. Inhale, sweep your arms up. And exhale, plant your hands down. Shift back. Half splits. Draw your right toes up, ground that heel down. Stay grounded. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, shift back forward into your lunge. Sweep your arms up. Exhale, hands together at heart center, tip forward. Move into your twist as you exhale. This time, if you'd like to take your twist a little bit deeper, you can keep that arm grounded, and then the top arm, you're going to lift up, find a half bind or maybe a full bind. So I, for one, cannot reach my fingertips together for a full bind. What I like to do as an alternate is taking that top hand back. You can find your waistband, get a hold of that, and then take your left hand, and then get a good grip on whatever you're wearing on the bottom. And then using your hands, gripping onto your fabric, you can start to open this top shoulder and take the twist a little bit deeper. So just an option. You can also still be down here with your hand placed on the inside of your right foot. Another breath in and breath out. Release both hands down, tuck the back toes, step forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, and exhale, fold. Keep your arms wide. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, press your hands together, draw them down through midline, reset. Boom. Drop your hands, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Fingertips come down, set the right leg back. Right knee comes down. Inhale, sweep both of your arms up. Anjanayasana, low lunge. Take a breath in. And then exhale, plant both hands down, straighten your left leg, half splits. Inhale. And exhale. One time, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come back forward. Sweep both arms up. Exhale, plant your hands together at heart center, and then move into that twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. As you exhale, get a little bit deeper, and then decide if you'd like to take that half or full bind variation. Taking 3 breaths. Last inhale. And then exhale, unwind, plant your hands. This time we're going to tuck our right toes under and step back into a plank position. You can always have your knees down on the mat. Rock forward slightly so that your shoulders are stacked directly over your wrists. And then everybody lower your knees down and then drop chest and chin down in line with your thumbs. Booty way up there in the air. Inhale, slide forward, press your feet down, rise up, cobra pose. Press your feet down into the mat, finding that integration, keeping a gentle bend in your elbows, then draw your elbow tips back. Reach your chest forward, take a breath in, and then exhale, lower down. Bring your hands down, and then let your forehead rest down on the back of your palms. Let your heels drop out to the side. And for this brief moment in the middle of class, see if you can melt. And finding that little moment of balance between work and relaxation. Gently lift your head off. Lift your gaze just in front of your mat. Straighten and elongate your legs, and then press again the top of your feet down. See if you can turn on your quads. Reach your arms forward. Let them hover, and then sweep them by your side, palms towards your thighs, thumbs down, pinkies up. Draw your shoulders together on your back, and again, reach your fingertips back towards your toes. Keep your gaze down. Stay here or lift your legs up to hover. Locus Pose or Shavasana. Inhale, inflate your tummy. Lift the crown of your head. And then exhale. Inhale, draw your hands. Press them down underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Press up, plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Gaze moves to your thumbs. And we're going to jump through to Navasana. So you can jump or you can just step, cross your legs, and then come to sit down. All right. So feet on the mat to start. Draw your knees towards each other. And then sitting up nice and tall, straighten your back. Roll your shoulders up towards your ears together and down your back. I like to place one hand, the back of one hand at my low back, and just find a gentle lift, manually lifting my lumbar spine up. All right, so when we move into Navasana, any variation of boat pose that you go into, the first place that the structure of this pose starts to fail is in this low back area. Immediately, we start to round. So remember your hand here as a little bit of a reminder of how to keep that structure. And then place both hands, pointer fingers under the crease of your knees. Lift your left leg and then right leg up. Squeeze your legs towards each other. If you have a block, something soft, not a 15-pound dumbbell, you can also squeeze those in between your legs. So now finding this balance here on your hip points. Keep your chest lifted, shoulders back. Again, think about your low back. Have you started to round into a real big dory boat-like pose? See if you can lift up more. Find that V, right? So we're looking for like more of like the deep V of a sailboat. Okay, and then either stay here, maybe lift your arms out to the side, palms up, so you keep opening in your chest. So thumbs rotating out. And maybe straighten your legs, coming into that nice V. And keep your low back lifted. Breath in, breath out. Breath in. And then exhale, bend your legs, come back down. Plant your feet on the mat. Plant both hands down on the mat. And you want your fingers to actually point towards your heels. Thumbs in. Inhale, lift up, lifting your hips up towards the sky, making a nice table. Should be called Mesa pose. Draw your knees towards each other and then gaze straight up to the sky. Breath in, breath out. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower back down. All right, we're gonna come back into boat pose, but this time adding on a little bit of a twist. So find that nice spot on both sit bones. Lift your right and then your left leg up. Squeeze them. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, tap both fingers out to the left side. Keep squeezing your legs. Now, if this is too much, then keep your left hand on your left thigh and reach your right arm over. Inhale, middle or middle. Exhale, both hands to the right or left hand to the right, crossing over. Inhale, center, lift your chest. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. You're going to do this 2 more times each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Inhale, lift. Hands behind your knees. Rest your feet down. Then you're going to cross your legs. Roll back forward, coming onto hands and knees, and extend your legs back. Plank pose. Take a breath in and out. Lower knees down. Inhale. Exhale, lower chest and chin down between your thumbs. Inhale, draw yourself forward, press your feet down. Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Maybe making it a little bit higher. Maybe straightening your arms, draw your chest through. Keep your hips rooting down, your legs strong and firmly pressing into the mat. Open your chest, take 1 more breath in, and then exhale, lower, tuck your toes, press up and back, downward facing dog. Breath in and breath out. Then inhale, lift your left leg high. And then exhale, step your left foot forward. This time, keep your right knee lifted. We're gonna go from our low lunge into a high lunge. So adding a little bit more balance. Less of our body is gonna be on the mat. Inhale, sweep both arms up. High lunge. Draw your left knee forward. Press firmly through your right heel and lift your arms up without pulling yourself out of this lunge. Instead, stay grounded. Take a breath in. And then exhale, plant your hands down. Again, you can pull in those props. And then you're going to start to straighten your left leg. So coming into pyramid pose. So Same rules apply as in Arta, as we did in Arta Hanamanasana, that we want to keep this left straight leg rooting back into our hip, pulling back, and our right hip drawing forward. So our hips stay nice and square. Hands, if they're down on the mat, they are framing your left foot, and the right hand is a little bit more out to the side. I like to keep my toes spread wide and actually pull them off of the mat so I have a gentle bend in that left leg. So I'm not locking it out. So be it with blocks, props, dumbbells, or hands on the ground, again, take those 3 breaths. Working to find that integration, but then also a little bit of release with each exhale. So finding that perfect pose, right? Not a perfect pose that looks just like the instructor or just like what you think pyramid pose does look like in your, but instead finding other, keep the alignment, and then find opening. Find a little bit of pleasure. Last time, breath in and out. Bend your left knee. Inhale, reach your arms back up, high lunge. You got a little dizzy from being down, then take a couple breaths. And then exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Let your thumbs touch your sternum. Inhale, tip forward. And from this tip forward, now you can really feel how your spine is one long line and an extension out through that right heel. So we're like, why do you do that in low lunge? Well, when you get up into high lunge, this kind of alignment is like one long slope. And from there, we can start to pivot into our twist. Right elbow outside of the left knee. Again, you can take a variation by placing your right hand down to the inside or on your block or on your creative prop, or you can keep your elbow up just a little bit higher than your knee. For this variation, I'm going to have you make a fist with the bottom hand, and then like rock, paper, scissors, the top hand is paper. Press and twist. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Slowly unwind. And then you're going to keep walking over to the right. So you have a wide leg forward fold. Hello. Press your feet down into the mat so that the outside edges of your mat are parallel with the sides. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Then keep walking over to the right. And we switch sides in our lunge. Our right foot is now forward. Draw your right knee over your right ankle and press actively through your left heel. All right, keep that left leg strong. Reach your arms up. Come back into your high lunge. See if you can find a nice, strong, grounded base. And then reach more through your hands as though you could lift and elongate your spine. Breath in and breath out. Inhale. Exhale, plant your hands down to frame your right foot. Slowly start to straighten your right leg. Then you can think about plugging your right femur head back into your hip, drawing it back. You can use those props. They might be at the front of your mat, so you need to move them back. Or you can press your fingertips into the mat. And I like to lift my toes up, keep a gentle bend so you're not locking out that right knee. You can always shorten the stance slightly. Again, make this pose sustainable for you so that you get a nice opening in your hamstring. You can feel your feet in your hands or something underneath your hands, giving you balance here. And you can find a little bit of treading that line between effort, the pressing down, and ease, folding your torso. Inhale and exhale. More time. Inhale and exhale. Then bend your right knee. Again, keep your left leg strong. If you made your stance a little bit shorter, then lengthen it back out and lift your arms back up. Coming back into your high lunge. Exhale, bring your thumbs down to your sternum. Open your chest. Take a breath in. And then exhale, tip forward. So again, I almost went straight into the twist. Find that long line, spine, top of the head, down through your left heel. All right, so you want to tip down just enough so that's a nice gentle slope. And then from that axis, you find rotation. Bring your left elbow to the outside of. If you're up, make that left hand into a fist. Take the right hand over top and press down. Keep strongly pressing through your left leg. Breathe in and out. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Deep breath in and out. Slowly release. Plant your hands down. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep walking our hands to the right. And you're like, what? You're going to spin to the outside of your feet and start to stretch your IT band on the right side. This is kind of a crazy pose. Feel a little bit like a pretzel. All right, start walking your hands over to the left, unwind, come through a wide leg, forward fold, pause. And now keep walking your hands to the left, pivot on your feet. Come to the outside edges of your feet. And then you got a little pretzel on the other side, stretching the outside of your left IT band. Oh yeah, that was fun. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Slowly unwind just enough to the right side so that your left foot is at the front of your mat. Bend your knee and step forward. Now what I'd like you to do is drop both fists down in between your toe mounds so that you've got hip width distance apart. Bend your knees, rest your thighs, or your ribs rather, onto your thighs. Stretch your arms forward. Move the weight here into your heels, and then slowly just lift the upper body up for Utkatasana, chair pose, or awkward pose. Fingertips rise any amount. Sit your hips down and back. Breathe in and out. So we're going to start to take this twisting a little bit deeper. Clap your hands down to heart center. Now you're going to take your elbow on the left side. So you got feet hip width distance apart and bring it down in between your knees. Squeeze your knees around that elbow and then start to twist open to the right. So this is a little bit gentler to start than reaching all the way across. Release, inhale, come back up, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, hands down to heart center, move the weight into your heels. Drop your right elbow in between your knees, squeeze, and then press your palms together, open up to the left. Breathe in and out. Release, inhale, come to center, Utkatasana, and straighten. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Release your arms, stretch them back up. And then exhale, fold. Bring your feet now to touch. Bend your knees, lower your ribs down onto your thighs, shift your hips back. Inhale, stretch your arms forward. So what this does is it helps us find that balance where we can bring the weight a little bit farther back, right? Forward onto our toes and then back onto our heels. Keep the heel pressure, lift just your torso up. Draw your knees towards each other. So for some people, this can feel a little bit awkward because your feet are closer than hip width distance apart. So if this does not feel good on your hips, then come back to that earlier version where your knees are wider. You can also place a pillow or a block between your knees. Exhale, bring your hands together to heart center. Tip your torso forward and then twist left elbow outside of your right knee. Squeeze your legs, press into elbow to leg, and begin to open your chest to the side so that your shoulders are now pivoted 90 degrees from your hips. Release, inhale, come to Utkatasana in the center. Exhale, hands down to heart center, tip forward. So just like we did in the lunges, that same gentle tip, and then exhale, right elbow outside of your left knee. Press your palms together. Keep your hips rooting down and back, because if they come forward, you're gonna tip forward. It comes almost like a drinking bird pose. So you wanna stay grounded in your heels and then find that axis that you can rotate around. Release, inhale to center, straighten your legs. Exhale, hands down to heart center. All right, so we're gonna add on one last layer. It's called side crow or Parsva Bakasana. So I'm gonna demonstrate, and if your legs are super sore, you can always take a knee. So from this Utkatasana chair pose, we're gonna do this with our legs together. I'm gonna demonstrate this facing you. You're going to come into this side twist, and then I'm gonna teach it tonight where you bring your hands down parallel. Now, the reason for that is you might have done this before where you bring your hands down perpendicular. But as you twist to the side, the twist in your body, in your core, actually becomes less. Now, the more you're twisted, the more integration you can find to move this into an arm balance. So again, here, twist, hands plant to the side, heels lift up. So maybe you come to here, and this is going to be a pretty big twist in your core. You can start to work on hands spreading wide, shifting the weight more over your hands. And then from there, heels lift up. Your chin has to dip forward. Maybe lift the inside leg, maybe the outside leg. Come up. The outside elbow, it is going to want to tuck into your side. The key here is to use this almost like an outrigger on a crane, right? It's stability. So pull the elbow out. Let that arm have some movement so that it can stabilize. All right, I'm going to demonstrate on the other side, and then we're going to do this all together. I know. It'll be fun. You can take it anywhere along the crazy train, right? Find balance. If you don't come all the way down, if you don't get those toes lifted, totally fine. You don't need a party trick for Memorial Day weekend. Instead, you just want to feel a good cleaning out of your core. So hands come down. So my fingers and my toes are pointing in the same direction. This elbow, outside elbow, is pretty far out. So I like to go even wider than shoulder width distance. Then I start to transfer more of the weight over. My knees knock out to the side. Reach your chin forward and then start to balance the weight on this inside forearm. All right, let's move into this together. Any questions before we do that? No? Just like, oh my God, lady. All right, it'll be fun. Okay, let's do it. So if you've been down in Utkatasana that whole time, shake out your legs. Shake out any preconceptions about this pose. Side crow, you crazy lady. Let's go. Feet together, inhale, arms up. Bring your hands together. Let your hands press into the opposite. Thumb come to rest on your sternum. Reset button, press. Bend your knees. Sink down to that Utkatasana chair pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, twist. Left elbow outside of the right knee. Inhale, exhale, move your gaze. Find that deeper twist. Keep that connection outside, bottom tricep to the outside of your knee. Lift your heels up and squat down. Plant your hands onto the mat. Now we get a little bit scarier, right? But we're close to the ground. So hopefully you're on a softer surface than pavers. Lift your hips up. Reach your chin forward. So this is a really important transition, a shift of weight forward, finding balance. It's going to look different for everyone. Begin to maybe just lift the inside foot up. Bring your chin closer to the ground, closer forward, and that makes it a little bit easier to lift up that outside leg. Breathe in, breathe out. Come down. Whew. And then actually we'll do a wide leg forward fold between sides. Bring your feet out really wide, dangle your torso down, release your head, shake it out from side to side, opening up the outside of your hips, those hamstrings a little bit. You can feel real tight and crunchy. And then hands down, heel toe your feet back together, last side. So again, finding Utkatasana, hands down through heart center. Knees together, feet together. So it's nice for this to keep everything squeezing in together because you want to find that integration. You want to hold that as you move into the balance. Press your palms together. Exhale, twist, right elbow outside of your left knee. Pause. Don't think about that arm balance. Just take a nice deep twist. Even getting your navel a little bit more over that upper thigh. And then move your gaze back down. Lift your heels up. Sink your hips down. And plant your hands down on the mat. Again, a little bit wider than shoulder width distance. And this can be a nice deep twist. So maybe you just work here, finding a nice release in your spine with this twist. If you want to start to move into a little bit more balance, fingers forward. Start to move your chin off the mat, off the edge. And again, lifting this inside foot to start can be a great way to transition over. So the weight is bearing down on that inside arm. Use the outside to stabilize. Then when you're done, coming down, Finding that nice wide leg forward fold. This time, take your pointer finger, middle finger, those ones we put down in the beginning, we're gonna keep those up. Find your big toes and take a deeper wide leg forward fold. Inhale and exhale. Let your spine hang long. Let it decompress. Inhale and exhale. Seal your lips, breathe into your nose. Find that breath moving all the way down or up your naughty lines to the top of your hips. And exhale out. Bring your hands down to the mat in front of you. Inhale, lift up halfway. And then exhale, heel toe your feet in until you find yourself in Uttanasana. Plant your hands, step back to a downward facing dog. Lower your knees down to the mat. Walk your hands forward, melt your heart down. Now opening up the top of your spine. Let your forehead come down to the mat, elbows stay lifted, arms stay long. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, lift your gaze. Walk your hands in one handprint and then lower chest and chin down. Inhale, pull up and through Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. And then exhale, set yourself down. Plant both palms down at the front of your mat and rest your forehead down. So we'll take a downward facing Shavasana to end tonight's class. You can always instead do one ear down to the side, hands by your side, or you can flip over like a pancake and take a traditional Shavasana. Either way, let your entire body release, letting it get heavy so the outlines of your body begin to melt into the ground. The edges become soft. You find a release after the last 60 minutes of work. Slowly lift your head up, pull your hands back under your shoulders. And then inhale, press up, keeping your knees down. And exhale, press your hips back over your heels. Keep your hands grounded, stretch your upper back. Inhale, come forward, slide your legs out to one side, and come to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands together to heart center. Again, flip away, flip your feet, taking that opposite leg on top. Sit up nice and tall. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let your thumbs rise to third eye center, the top of your forehead. Be curious. Follow your bliss. Namaste.